All right.
Hello, hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Joe.
I'm Joe, and it's really an honor to be the first one to present in 2018. And before we get into it, I would really want to ask you to give another round of applause to Jesse and crew for setting this up. It's really awesome. So, I work for a company called iFlix. iFlix is the movie streaming service for emerging market. And I'm in the lucky position where I get to think and work a lot on the team productivity and efficiency. So let me ask you a question. How many of you use Slack? Okay, almost everyone in the room. HipChat or any other instant messaging for work? Yeah, some other hands. Yeah. How many of you have checked Slack or equivalent since you've been here tonight? Yeah, I did too. Yep.
It's not the work Slack.
Okay, well, the work Slack. So, as I said, I think about productivity and stuff, I do experiments, and I came to this conclusion, which is that Slack is harmful for your productivity. And what do I mean with this? So, if we define productivity as the amount of generated business value, the actual, say we write code, the actual useful code that you write, the one that goes out to the users, the one that makes the app better, the one that makes money to your employer or yourself. Well, if that's what we mean by productivity, and we put it here, and this is the time that you spend on Slack, I would say that this is how the relationship between them goes. There's a certain amount of Slack that is actually useful, and after that, it just becomes a burden on your productivity. And mind you, this is based on no data whatsoever, only personal opinion and empirical experience, all right? So take it with a pinch of salt. But yeah, this is what I've seen, and I see you try to work and you get interrupted, and then you reply, and then you're sidetracked, and it just gets in your way. So I came up with the SLA Pro WO, which is the Slack routine for productive work. The 4 is lowercase because it's not in the acronym. So this is how the SLA Pro WO goes. You set yourself as a way. You set your status as something like, emoji of choice, working deeply on feature X. Then you can snooze your notification for 1 hour or any amount of time that you think you're going to work deeply. Unfortunately, Slack doesn't have a keyboard shortcut for snoozing notification. I hope they're going to add one soon. And finally, you quit Slack. This is all to make your colleague aware that you are not slacking off, and this is to actually make you productive. And if you get worried, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go off Slack, what's going to happen? I've been trying this myself for the past month, not really every day, but a number of times a week. And this is, no, you're all seeing everything. They ruined it. This is what happened. I got lots of work done in my time away from Slack. I felt good about the rest of the day, because even if I sort of got distracted and got called into things that, from my point of view, weren't as high a priority, at least I had already done something good, something useful for iFlix and the team and the company. And had a lot of fun, because I was sort of working my way through code, being challenged by problems that I needed to solve. It was good. It was really fun to go to work. And these are a few things that didn't happen. Nobody died. Nothing caught fire while I was offline, and I didn't get fired. And no one overrode the snooze notification courtesy, except for one person, which I ignored. So I would encourage you to try the SLA Pro WO, and let me know how you go. Your mileage may vary. So at this point of the talk, I hope that you're going to be like, why should I trust what you say? Who are you? Where does all this come from? Well, you shouldn't trust me. You should never trust something that, random people tell you in a talk. Go back and verify it yourself. That's why, you should try the routine and tell me how you feel about it. I have a few other questions. So, how many of you have checked Twitter, Facebook, social media since you got here? How many of you have checked Twitter, Facebook, email today? How many of you have ever received a tap on your watch or a notification on your phone while you were having a conversation with someone and just took out the phone or looked at the watch while you were talking with someone? I've done it plenty of time today as well, while I was speaking with someone, sorry. So, as I said, I kind of like reading and learning and experimenting about productivity and efficiency. And there's two books that I would really recommend everyone and that they've been very impactful for me. The first one is Peak from Anders Ericsson and Robert Poole. And Peak talks about what it takes to become a top performer, like, Olympic champion of whatever, grandmaster of chess, solo violinist player. But it starts with a lot of scientific theory on the brain. And it taught me about neuroplasticity, which is the concept that, unlike it was believed a few years ago, our brains are actually always in motion and they're always remodeling themselves. And we can affect our brains the same way we grow our muscles going to the gym. We go to the gym and we grow our muscles. We train our brain in a certain way, and we can actually grow the area of the brain that takes care of that function. Another concept that is exposed in Peak is the concept of homeostasis, which is the fact that our bodies and our minds are made to become efficient at everything that they do. So if you go to the gym and lift weights, if you want to grow more muscles, you're going to have to lift heavier and heavier weights because your body is getting used to it. I never thought of that, and they're very interesting, and they're going to come in handy later. The second book that I would really, really recommend you, what I think should be the Bible of the software developer and knowledge worker, is Deep Work from Cal Newport. Deep Work is a long argument towards the value of focus and being focused at work, especially for software developers like us. And it contains a lot of strategies for focused work, for building focused work in your life, in your day. That's sort of what gave me the idea of the Slack routine. Something that is quoted in Deep Work is this study, Cognitive Control in Media Multitaskers, by Ophir, Nass, and Wagner, which was published in 2009. Look, I couldn't really summarize the study for you, but this is what Christopher Nass tells about the study in an interview. I'm going to read. The people we talked with continually said, look, when I really want to concentrate, I turn off everything and I am laser focused. And unfortunately, they develop habits of mind that make it impossible for them to be laser focused. They're suckers for irrelevancy. They just can't keep on task. This really hit me off. So I just learned about neuroplasticity and homeostasis and how, the more we do something, the more our body gets accustomed to that and we change our brain to be more effective at that. Then I learned that the more we try to multitask and get distracted, the sort of worse we get at focusing. And I went, this is scary. What am I doing with my brain? And that sort of set me off on a little personal journey to try and reduce distraction in my life and try to get back focus. So I would encourage all of you to do a favor to to your brain and stop multitasking. I'm Joe. You can find me at mocacoding.com, joe@mocacoding.com. And I have a newsletter in which I haven't written for ages. But I'm trying to, write stuff like the one that we talked about tonight. And that's the link to subscribe if you want. Thank you.
Any questions for Joe?
Any question?
How long's your journey been so far?
How long? So I read Deep Work in March last year. So 9 months. Yep. I still get distracted all the time, but I am aware of being distracted. So how many of you, when Xcode is building, you sort of stay there and say, oh, let me check something else. Let me check something else. I get the pattern of thought in my head and say, no, stay there. Keep looking at that bar because you need to stay focused on this. And maybe I use that time, that incredibly long time, unfortunately, to think about what's going to be my next move in my coding, for whatever I'm writing. Yeah. Any other question? Plus.
You mentioned Slack as I understand correctly, the team communication channel for many people, but many other teams just use human communication as that channel. Would you consider human communication also harmful if it's a out-of-bounds distraction?
That's a very good question. The question was for all of you in the YouTube stream, so I can see if I got it correctly. Would you consider human communication, human interaction as toxic or dangerous for focus as Slack is? Sort of. There's a big argument to be made against open office floor plans and how maybe we should have our, if not cubicles, like little team offices. And there's also things like the headphones rule. If I say, hey, the same thing as Slack, I want to deep dive into my work, stay focused, make the best work that I can, and earn money to my company, I'm just going to put my headphones on, and no one is going to interrupt me unless something is on fire.
It's useful to have in those situations because a lot of people just listen to music in offices and don't know whether or not they're listening just for pleasure or for focus, usually for focus. You can make use of things on your desk, like if you've got a little sign, it's like please don't disturb.
Nice. Oliver's suggestion was to use something on your desk, a token that says, hey, I'm in focus mode. Please don't disturb me unless it's necessary.
Sometimes in that signage is actually like have an indication of when people should can come and talk to you. So if you want, like a few undisturbed hours, you can say please don't disturb, come back at 3 o'clock.
Yep. A remix of the routine that I use sometimes goes, I'll be back at 12 or whatever. Yep. Another question?
Hopefully the last one. Now, I wonder how you balance the productivity benefits of basically setting a do not disturb mode for yourself versus a potential productivity benefit of answering a question your teammate has.
Yeah. That's a great question about questions. So how do you balance, the productivity benefit that you get from being undisturbed with the benefit towards the team that you could provide by answering a question that a teammate asks? I don't have a good answer for that. There's a few chapters of pieces of deep work that kind of bring the example of Jack Dorsey and how he's all about, I'm at my standing desk and anyone can come and interrupt me. I think it's all about balance. I try to be as available as I can for my team, and I try to schedule my work, my day, so that I get most of my stuff done in the morning, and then I have the rest of the day to react to requests. Your mileage may vary. If you are in a different position, you might find a lot of benefit by being offline for an entire day. I don't know. But I'd like to hear about it if you want. So come and grab me.
Just a quick run. Where were you published the slides?
I'll publish them on mocacoding.com / something, which I'll paste on Slack. Because, it's a curve. If you use it a bit, it's useful. Thank you.
One more question. So, if you were designing the ideal engineering workspace in a large open plan office, which I've got to do, what would you take out of deep work to help set it up so engineering can work as effectively as possible?
Yeah. So the question was, how would you design an open plan office to create space for engineers to get into deep work? I don't know, I'm not a floor plan designer. The book has an interesting chapter on this ideal place for deep work, which is a series of chambers that you go through them and you're more and more into depth, but that's not an answer to your question. I would start with maybe some pods out of the way and maybe facing the wall rather than the rest of the people. And maybe there could be this convention like, hey, if someone is over there in the pods, just leave them alone. They'll be back when they can.